Namaskaram everyone. Welcome to the guided meditation session of Vivekananda Samiti under the guidance of Swami Atmashraddhananda Maharaj. Initially, we'll have chanting followed by reading from complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Mostly right now we are reading Inspired Talks, which is the 7th volume of complete works. Afterwards, we'll have meditation session, and in the end, we'll have question answer session. Maharaj, you can begin.
Yes, thank you, Ankush. So we'll have our weekly session now. Meditation, is something that that seems to attract the attention of many people who are either not physically well, or they are very restless, or they suffer from a lot of anxiety. So people have often restricted meditation like a therapy for these things, which is not a bad beginning. It's a good beginning. But the real purpose of meditation is definitely much more than this. Say, just like if you have got a pen, and that pen can help you in writing, and it can also help in some other ways. Opening something, or on the table, the paper is flying off, you keep the pen as a paperweight, something like that. So meditation has not all these great benefits because you're thinking something positive. In meditation, the meditation is on something positive. It is not a meditation on our problems. It's not a meditation on the negativity of this world. One thing which all individuals, as grown-up individuals, must realize and must be convinced of, is that this word, two aspects about this word. We all have experience of the word from our childhood onwards. So this word consists of a mixture of good and evil. This is one thing we should understand. We should not be expecting only good, nor should we become so much worried about only bad. There will be always good and bad coexisting. So this, it's said in the Tulsi Ramcharitmanas, Guna dosha mai srishti kim. So srishti is done guna dosha. So there are doshas, we need not be all the time thinking of that. Somehow find out some positive thing and be focused on that. Focused on the positive side of your own life, your own personality, your own interactions. So people get some failure and frustration, and they think, oh, life is all negative things. No, not necessary. There are many things to become thankful about. For instance, you're living and you are contributing in some small way to your family and to your society and your own self. Be happy about it. And slowly we understand the higher aspect of life. Second thing is, this word is anitya. It is not nitya, which means it is not permanent. So don't think that if you have become frustrated, it is permanent, or if you have become successful, it is permanent. Both success and failure are two temporary phenomena. Of course, you can use the success in another sense, which is success in terms of realizing our real nature, which is Atman, which is true divine core of our being. So let us remember these two so that we are not disturbed by the world. So with this introduction, let me begin the Vedic chants, some Shanti mantras. So Shanti mantras is the prayer for peace. So I request everyone to close the eyes and let us listen to this. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Deva. Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः. Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhih. Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuः. Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaः. Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaः. Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemiः. Swasti no Brihaspatiradadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha. Shanno Bhavatvaryama. Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi. Shanno Vishnurukramaha. Namo Brahmane. Namaste Vayo. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. Ritam Vadishyami. Satyam Vadishyami. Tanmamavatu. Tadbhaktaramavatu. Avatu mam. Avatu bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Asato ma sadgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Prachodaya. Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. We shall briefly read and reflect over the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. As it was announced by Ankush, Saturday, we are reading the inspired talks. So I'll read the section titled Saturday, July 6, 1895. The subheading says, today we had Shankaracharya's commentary on Vyasa's Vedanta Sutras. Om Tat Sat. Swami Vivekananda says this. According to Shankara, there are two phases of the universe. One is I and the other Tao. And they are as contrary as light and darkness. So it goes without saying that neither can be derived from the other. On the subject, the object has been superimposed. The subject is the only reality, the other is mere appearance. The opposite view is untenable. Matter and external world are but the soul in a different state. In reality, they are only one. All our world comes from truth and untruth coupled together. Samsara, life, is the result of the contradictory forces acting upon us, like the diagonal motion of a ball in a parallelogram of forces. The word is God and is real, but that is not the word we see. Just as we see silver in the mother of pearl, where it is not. This is what is known as adhyasa, or superimposition. That is a relative existence dependent upon a real one. As when we recall a scene we have seen, for the first time it exists for us. But that existence is not real. Or some say it is as when we imagine heat in water, which does not belong to it. So really it is something which has been put where it does not belong, taking the thing for what it is not. We see reality, but distorted by the medium through which we see it. You can never know yourself except as objectified. When we mistake one thing for another, we always take the thing before us as the real, never the unseen. Thus, we mistake the object for the subject. The Atman never becomes the object. Mind is the internal sense, and the outer senses are its instruments. In the subject is a trifle of the objectifying power that enables him to know I am. But the subject is the object of its own self, never of the mind or the senses. You can, however, superimpose one idea on another idea, as when we say the sky is blue, whereas the sky itself being only an idea. Signs and nescience, all there are, but the self is never affected by any nescience. Relative knowledge is good because it leads to absolute knowledge. But neither the knowledge of the senses, nor of the mind, nor even of the Vedas is true, since they're all within the realm of the relative knowledge. First, get rid of the delusion, I am the body. Then only can we want true, real knowledge. Man's knowledge is only a higher degree of brute knowledge. So we close this reading here. Now I'll share with you my understanding, some reflection, some contemplation of what we have read. So the introduction to this small paragraph says that it is a Shankara's commentary on Vyasa's Vedanta Sutras. So Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, those who know, 8th century, and the great mathas which he established, 4 mathas, Sringeri Matha in South India. Then in Jagannath Puri, there is one matha. Then another matha in Dwarka, and one in the near Ashrama, Joshi Matha. So this great Shankaracharya wrote a commentary on what is known as Vedanta Sutras. It is also known as Sharirika Sutras. It is also known as Brahma Sutras. So Brahma Sutras or Sharirika Sutras or Vedanta Sutras, what are they? There are more than 500 of them. They have been composed by Vyasa, the great sage Vyasa. And it is said that it is the Nyaya Prasthana, which means that pillar of the Vedanta, which is based on a purified logic. Nyaya. Nyaya is not just any logic. It's a very specific type of knowledge. But yes, it is a logical thing. So based on that text, this 500 plus sutras, Swamiji has given a kind of a commentary on that, Shankara's commentary. Swamiji says, Acharya Shankara, according to Shankara, there are 2 phases of the universe. In the Vedanta Sutras, it is said, Idam and Aham. This one, something other than me. This one and I, subject. I is the subject, this is the object. Anything. It could be the cell phone, it could be a book, it could be n number of objects in this world, including the earth. Anything that I perceive, what I perceive, idam, is called object. So Swami Vivekananda says that, referring to Shankara, that both of them, idam and I or aham, they are 2 different things. How much different? Like light and darkness. So, but they are actually the same reality being seen through different levels. Matter, the opposite view is, Swamiji says, matter and external world are but the soul in a certain state. In reality, there is only one. The soul in the material form and soul in the sense of consciousness. All our word comes from truth and untruth coupled together. It's a very profound statement. It says satyam asatyam mithuni kritaha. Acharya Shankara says in the in his commentary on this, he says mithuni kritaha, mixing of two, whose truth and untruth. How is it? We are seeing the word. If you go to the quantum physics, they will say, no, you are not seeing the word fully. You are seeing only one dimension of the truth, maybe 2 dimensions, maybe 3 dimensions, but there are other dimensions of truth also. Further, Swamiji says, samsara is a result of contradictory forces acting upon us, like the diagonal motion of a ball in a parallelogram of forces. So, contradictory forces are there. Yeah, everyone's life is full of contradictions. First of all, if you go by a philosophical understanding of life, if we think that we are the eternal being, the question comes, why should eternal become non-eternal? What is non-eternal? Our body. We are born. We all of us have got a birthday and a birth time and a birthplace, which means we have a beginning. So what has a beginning will have an end. So our birthday we all know, but the death day we do not know, but it is all there. We do not know. Maybe if all of you are in your 20s, early 20s, maybe another 80 years. I wish you all 100 years. But it is fixed that after 100 years you will not live. Maybe earlier. So point is, this is all a contradiction in terms. That which is eternal has become non-eternal. But how does it happen? He says, there are, I'm not going into all details here, just a few things. Swamiji says, according to Vedanta, this kind of the eternal becoming non-eternal is called superimposed adhyasa. In Sanskrit, it's called adhyasa. And there is another term which is used called upadhi. What is upadhi? He gives an translation. Swamiji, these are all technical terms of Vedanta. So he gives taking the thing for what it is not. Taking the thing for what it is not. Understand that? That I am thinking this is what it is. But actually it is not. We are Atman, but we think we are body. We are consciousness, but we think we are material, matter. So this is called even ordinary things. Like you have an upadhi that you are studying in IIT. I have an upadhi that I am a Swami. These are all superimpositions. The real self is neither Swami nor IIT, nor non-IIT, nor politician, nor officer, nor mother, nor father. None of these. What are we then? The real pure self. But then why do we have these upadhis? Well, this is how the Vyavahara goes on. Vyavahara means the practical word. So Swamiji further says that you can never know yourself except as objectified. When we mistake one thing for another, we always take the thing before us as the real, never the unseen. So we mistake ourselves as body, or we mistake ourselves and we develop certain ego. The more knowledge you have, the more ego is likely to be there. The more degrees you have, the more ego you will have. So, and the more ego you have, the more hurt you will feel. For every small little things, you will feel hurt. Oh, I am holding such a big position, but I have not shown the respect that I should. We are not saying that we should be insulting others, not that way. Point is, from a very specific angle, we are seeing, it is spiritual angle, that we should not develop that kind of ego. That ego makes our life very restricted. The Atman never becomes the object. So let us try to live the life of Atman in our life. Mind is the internal sense, the outer senses are its instruments. It's called internal sense or antakarana. So antakarana or the senses, they are all in the hands of another thing called Atman, the divine. The subject is a trifle of the objectifying power that enables him to know I am. but the subject is the object of its own self. So we are that eternal being. You can, however, superimpose one idea on another. So this is a very, very subtle analysis of the human personality. The other day, someone was reading this book. He is a professor in IIT. So he was mentioning what is subtle analysis of the human personality you find in the Brahma Sutras. Of course, one should not directly try to read them. You need some stepping stones, some basic fundamentals should be clear to you. Otherwise, it'll be very boring. It'll be because we are reading all translations, or even if you read in the Hindi translation, we will find it difficult to grasp the meaning until we have certain basic things, some basic fundamental principles of Vedanta clear to us. So the sky is blue, the sky itself being only an idea. This is like superimposition. There is a sky that itself is only idea. We have given the name called sky. What it is, we do not know. A thing in itself cannot be known. So science and nescience, which means vidya and avidya, knowledge and ignorance, are all there are, but the self is not affected by any nescience. So what we call vidya or knowledge here is knowledge of the objective world. So there is also ignorance of the objective world. For instance, we do not know what's happening right now in Israel. We have vidya, but we also have avidya happening. We do not know what's going to happen after 10 days or tomorrow or this evening. We have some knowledge, we don't have everything. But the real self is beyond that. But we have to keep up the relative knowledge, which is good. It leads to obsolete knowledge, but neither the knowledge of the senses, nor of the mind, nor of the Vedas, remember that, is true, since they're all within the realm of the relative knowledge. True in the sense, they are true, but they are not true always. They keep changing. So Vedic knowledge is also subject to, let us say it is, Vedas are eternal. Vedic knowledge is eternal. But the knowledge that, suppose you are a Sanskrit scholar, you can quote a lot of things from Vedas, but that doesn't give you knowledge of the self. You only say, it is written in the Upanishad. You are a good, I can use the word quoter. You can quote things. You can tell the page numbers. You can tell the adhyaya number. That doesn't make you knower of the Brahman. It's good that you know that, but it's just like a tape recorder. What is the way to know the net self? Only way is that we have to slowly purify the mind. And that purified mind, free from anger, free from too much of desires, greed, jealousy, lust, then we will, with that purified mind, we can know our real self. So this is a reading for today. So now let's have a session in guided meditation. I request everyone to sit straight. If you're not sitting straight already, and let us close the eyes. We just now read from Swami Vivekananda's words on the Vedanta, the Advaita Vedanta, the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of the Atman, and how there is objective word, how there is the upadhi or the thing which it is not and we mistake it to be, and all those very subtle concepts. So thinking about these subtle concepts, even though we may not fully grasp everything about it, it makes the mind somewhere purified, somewhere quiet. When you think of something subtle like this, these are all, spiritual psychology truths. When you think of the creator, when you think of the sustainer or the person who will dissolve this life, so mind becomes a little more subtle then. Well, sit quietly, closing the eyes. Let us relax our body and mind. Which means let go any strong thoughts that you may be holding, any negative thought. Let's say the thought of being not treated well, or the thought of expectation of something, and whether it's going to happen, that worry, or any such thought. Let us leave everything aside, as if we switch off. We kind of switch off about the world. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Let us sit in that asanam, which should be not moving, Sthiram, and Sukham. We should not feel tired in that. We should feel comfortable in that. So don't stretch too much, don't slouch, but sit straight and comfortably. We are all as if sitting in a body, and let us sit comfortably. Let us always wear a little loose clothes when we sit for meditation, so that we don't have to change postures because of discomfort. So let us sit comfortably, straight, with closed eyes. Let us be very earnest about our meditation. Let us not have any negative thought about meditation. Let us feel that we will be able to meditate. Think of your inherent capacity to meditate. Maybe it is not fully manifest, but it will manifest one day. We have started the journey. Let's have faith in ourselves, faith in our capacity, faith in our strength. Let us now fill the mind with positive feelings of well-being, our own well-being. We are healthy, we are strong, we are at peace. Even if they sound imaginary, it's a healthy imagination, just as there is unhealthy imagination. Let's begin by having the healthy imagination. And let us pray for the well-being of all. A good part of our mind is engaged in thinking about others, especially the negative interactions we have had with others. Some shouting, some argument, some difference of opinion, or something somebody has done out of jealousy for us, or through anger, or greed, or lustful thoughts. Let us set aside all these and pray for the well-being of all. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. May all have well-being. May no one suffer pain and misery. Let us not have any jealousy or feeling of revenge against anybody. We don't have to punish or trouble anybody. May the divine power take everyone on the right path, the path of dharma, path of emotional and internal maturity. May all manifest love, unselfish love. May all manifest peace, unconditional peace. May all overcome their difficulties, their defects, their struggles. Oh, people in all directions, all countries, continents, states, cities, houses, streets, our own people and not so-called our own people. May everybody be at peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us feel humble and pray to that Almighty and to all forms of God, to all great sages, to all great ones, great adepts in meditation, to bless us, to be gracious to us. May we all be able to meditate. Feel yourself in the present moment. The mind, like a pendulum, goes to either future or past. Try to keep the pendulum in the present. Feel you are sitting on the chair or bed or whatever. Feel the sensations in your feet. Feel the sensation in your legs, the calf muscles, the knee joints, the thighs, the hip joints. Let's be gracious. Let's be grateful to the Lord that we have healthy legs. We can move around. Our life depends so much on these legs. Be grateful for that. Feel the sensation of your spine from the bottom of the spine till the top of the spine. The shoulders, chest, the heart inside. Feel the heartbeat. Heartbeat represents life. It represents the divine in us. Feel your upper body, the chest, center of the chest, abdomen, the navel, the upper bodies, both the hands, the palms, fingertips, the forearms, elbows, upper arms. Try to feel the sensation. There is a blood running throughout all these parts. There is a cellular activity happening in all these parts. The shoulders, the neck, the throat area, the head, forehead, the ears, behind the ears, eyes, the eyebrows, the closed eyes, cheeks, chin, the nose, the calm face, and a healthy, strong body. Strong not in the sense of a gymnastic strength, but strong in terms of ability to meditate, ability to live a healthy life. Think of the prana shakti in you, the vital energy. When we are alive, when we are awake, there is this prana shakti. When we are asleep, temporarily also, activity may be suspended, but prana shakti is there. It is making us breathe, digest food, do all body functions. Think of that prana in you. That is represented by the breathing. So think of the breathing. Focus on your nostrils. Breathe in and breathe out. That's happening without our effort. Just be conscious of that. Feel the sensations on your nostrils. Now, go further. Try to feel your mental space, your mindscape, just as we have the landscape, your mindscape. Think of that. Think of your mind. Think of how so many thoughts, just see them. Don't try to control them. Don't try to hold them. Just observe your thoughts in a detached manner. And now come to a central point in your chest and visualize an object. The use of visualization is very essential for meditation. So a proper visualization. Think of the center of the chest and think of a form you can meditate on, some object. It could be the flame of a burning candle. It should be a holy, pure object. Or you can think the face of a Devi or a Devata. You can think of Lord Shiva or Sri Rama or Sri Krishna or Devi or Ramakrishna, anyone. Just consistently think of one. Don't go on changing. Visualize that it's present in your heart, in the center of your chest. Radiating peace, radiating light of wisdom. Let us chant Om, long Om. We'll chant it once. And then we shall try to focus the mind on that visualized object of meditation. Meditation is not outside something, it's inside something. So at your end, you can chant this. Remain seated in this closed posture with closed eyes. As much as possible, try to fix your mind on that visualized object. Thoughts of all kinds may disturb us, but pay no attention to them. Be detached to your own thoughts. and try to think of the divine presence in your heart. For next couple of minutes, I'll not give any instruction. We shall try to meditate. We'll say prayer at the end. Let us conclude. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. You can slowly open the eyes. So this is the conclusion of our meditation session.
Maharaj, if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box or raise your hand. There is one question from Rahi. From my childhood, my parents have involved me in doing puja regularly in evening and morning. In puja, I recite Hanuman Chalisa, then do the Aarti of Hanuman and Ram. Swamiji, should I replace this kind of practice by meditation, as I found meditation to be much more beneficial to me?
I would suggest don't give up your ritual at this moment. Please continue with your ritual, but you can add to that this meditation. So reduce if you are spending too much time in puja, you can slightly shorten it, find out how you can slightly shorten it. But chanting Hanuman Chalisa is just 3-4 minutes work. So the remaining time you can do meditation. In fact, you can supplement your puja with meditation, either before meditation or after meditation, whatever you find suitable, so that that will give you a sense of peace. In fact, traditionally, it is said after meditation, if you do puja, or you do before also, it's okay. But if you do puja, it helps you to retain this meditative mood for a longer time. So please continue, but you can supplement.
Thanks, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have one question. Usually in the guided meditation session, we are not, our mind is not involved in guiding ourselves. Whereas if we do meditation by ourselves, then we also try to guide ourselves. Then that differentiates the experience. In the guided meditation session, getting the peacefulness is quite easier, and whereas while we guide ourselves, it doesn't become that peaceful. So what should one do?
I think both you should continue. You continue the guided meditation sessions as we are doing. So what happens is a time comes when we become independent. So in our baby steps, this guided meditation help can be of great help. So we have one very elderly Swamiji. So he said, I started attending this guided meditation session when I was 19 years old. He said it was a immense help to me. And I think it is true of all young people. So once you get it, now he is very regular in his meditation now. He's nearing 70 or 72 or 73. But he is very regular in his meditation and he can sit for long times. But he said this would not have been possible if I had not got the guided meditation sessions when I was in my teens, late teens or early 20s. So if you have that, you see there are millions who just don't know. They don't get this. So they do it for some time and then they give it up. So it's better to have some guided meditation session like this. And then slowly we will gain inner abilities. In Patanjali's sutra, it is said, you have to do it for a long time with great sense of respect and continuity. Then you will slowly become, you will stand on your own feet. You would not require guided meditation sessions. At this moment, they will be very helpful. Maybe if you continue like this, it's difficult to say when, but maybe 6 months, maybe 6 years, we don't know. If you are able to maintain that, good enough.
Thanks, Maharaj. Maharaj, there are no more questions in the chat